Dr. Maponga, you are most welcome to Dar es Salaam in Tanzania.
Salim, salam alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Inshallah.
I want to start with this. It is a problem that Africans have to converse in foreign tongues.
Yeah, nokutikatanga kutaura nechikaranga tinosara kutaura toga. Madzidzisi atatoita the way we've been taught has been foreign based, has not been regional or integrative. And I promote actually, and I wish that there would be political will to either find one of the most spoken African languages, and particularly in the South, Zulu and Swahili. If they are well packaged, they could be some of the most popular to allow. And it's not just about language. Language is economics. Language is business. Language is education. Language is integration. Well, if you can't do business, someone you're going to talk to. So right now, a Tanzanian person cannot do business with a neighbor. And language is the barrier. So maybe we need to start looking at language not for its cosmetic purposes, but actually as a tool for interaction, transaction.
You think it's feasible to get to that point, or something will just have to be allowed to be as they are?
Good policies, beautiful policies, when they don't have political will, they can never be implemented. But evil policies that are implemented violently, they always succeed. So what we need is not a negotiation. It's actually a regional, continental mandate. All it will take is just to make Swahili available on every classroom. And within the next 5 years, the children are talking it, the parents are absorbing it, the workplaces. So it needs that kind of a window where the politicians themselves are the weakest link. It's not the people. People are not a problem. Nini nataka wamba Kiswahili, zdoko. You know, I can learn. But if there is no political will of starting to put Swahili programs on our TVs, on our radios, printing newspapers, printing some certain booklets, our science books, our technology, and etc., and translating all these scientific things into local languages, maybe it will remain again as a dream that is from far. But having said that, here we are speaking English.
Yeah.
Here we are speaking English.
Yep.
So if you're saying, is it really possible? I mean, is this possible? If this was possible,
but
everything else is possible.
But do you think an average Zimbabwean or Nigerian or Senegalese, for example, would consider Kiswahili as an indigenous language? They would consider it a foreign language.
Why is German and French and English acceptable? Now I have to go in Mahindra. Mahindra actually has more political will that is now making its way to our classrooms before Swahili does. So the question is, what makes this one more favorable? So we already have German, we have English, we have French.
Is German spoken in Africa?
Yeah, Namibia and other parts that are colonized by the Germans.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you already have 3 languages that are from Europe that are making way, and the 4th one from China that is coming in, and now we sit around and we want to polish our nails that Swahili is not possible. When actually Swahili has a language. Most likely 15 to 20% of the continent is already in a certain way acceptable to that. So the political will, I mean.
Yeah, so political will, yes, but practically, what would it take? I mean, I understand that there has to be a political will that's guaranteed, but on practical, I know, for example, South Africa teaches Swahili in its schools.
Some of the schools,
some of the schools. I don't know any other African country, but on practical level, what should happen?
The departments of education must just print Swahili books.
Yeah,
that's all it takes. Practically, we must now begin to have theatricals, music, arts, crafts, beginning to move themselves into the translation of the very language that we are. Because language, remember, is not just spoken. Language is culture. Language is practice. Language is spirituality. So until people are able to start inculcating these forms and formats of thinking into their daily living. What do you call clothes in Swahili? What do I call them? So if my people come from Zimbabwe and they come in to buy clothes, they need to know how to buy, how to sell, how to negotiate. Kabisa, and before you notice it, people will always find each other, by the way. And if
Yeah.
you want to know the most interesting part about language, just leave a boy and a girl together. Just leave them. One speaks another language, one speaks another language, and leave them. And they like each other. Language is not an issue.
Yeah, to close on another point, would you vote for Kiswahili as a continental language?
Don't even have to ask me that.
Yeah?
I'll be the first one. If you want to teach me Swahili, I'm the first student.
So thank you very much. And I think the another question that I have to ask you, why are you in Tanzania right now?
I'm not in Tanzania. I'm in Africa.
Yeah.
Africa is my continent
Yeah.
and my country.
Yeah.
Tanzania is a province.
Yeah.
I do in Tanzania what I do in Ghana, what I do in Zimbabwe, what I do in South Africa, wherever there are young people, wherever there are issues to be addressed, wherever there's education to be given, cultural exchange programs, paradigm shifts, strategic planning, empowerment, that kind of thing. Every time I see young people, I see a field of work. I work for an organization called Farmers of Thought, where we believe that every African brain is our field, where we must plant seeds of transformation and revolution and personal consciousness and stuff like that. So there was an institution here that found my services useful, and they called me to come and share some ideas around diplomacy and integration of improving the propaganda that Africa is sending out there about herself.
Yeah. Do you think it is appropriate for someone, because someone says, okay, I mean, it is one thing to describe yourself as African, and as you just said, I'm not in Tanzania, I'm in Africa. But Africa is such a huge continent. We have about 54 countries or something.
55.
55, and you never know, maybe tomorrow morning.
We might end up with Tanganyika and Zanzibar separated.
I hope it remains I hope it remains United Republic. But so we have and that's just the countries. We haven't touched about the ethnic communities that are over around Africa. And so people say, Africa is not a homogeneous entity. It's heterogeneous. People are different. Now we have Newton, for example, sub-Saharan African. We have countries, for example, Egypt, Morocco, Algeria, which have been criticized as not identifying as Africa. Why do you find it so easy to describe yourself as an African, proudly so, in the context of these clashing point of views?
Very interesting to have such a question, because within the same ambit, when you get into Europe, you don't have a problem of Europeans. That they're Portuguese, they're Italians, they're Germans, and they're French, and they're Europeans. There's no problem. When you get to India, you don't have a problem. That there are Gujaratis, there are what. There's no problem. When you get to China, there's no problem. So there's Taiwan, there's Taipei, there's mainland and there's South Indian. There's no problem. But when you come to Africa, then is a subject. South America, who bothers about Guatemala, Cambodia, Brazil, etc.? They're all South Americans. But Africa is a special case, because apparently different people can't live together.
Can or can't?
No. I'm saying as a perception, Africans can't live together.
Can or can't?
No, cannot live together.
Cannot live together.
But Europeans can live together. Indians can live together. Chinese can live together. South Americans can live together. But Africans is not homogeneous. So what is homogeneous around the world, if I can ask you? If all the rest of the world is plural in culture and singular in currency and in function, why must Africa be excluded as a non-conversant space of intellectual conversation, where actually diversity is not a measure of division, but diversity is actually a measure of convergence? I mean, look at my gown. Is this sorry for the language? Is this undressable? Because it's in many colors.
No, it is. I mean, I find it very.
So what if this is Kenya? What is this Tanzania? This is Ghana? This is Cameroon? Doesn't it make a beautiful garment?
It does.
Where all of us can coexist together. Yes, in as much as we see the divisions of cultural differences, but by no means does that mean that this is a separate garment from itself. This can be stitched together. This can be patched together.
Yes.
This can live together.
Yes.
You can take 55 flags and put them together and come up with one flag. I'm an artist. You can play 16 instruments and end up with one song. I can look at your teeth 32 of them, but they can chew the same meat. I can look at your fingers, different in sizes, but they can shake one hand.
Yeah.
So everything around us tells us that there is harmony in diversity. There's no division in diversity.
Yeah. What do you think the perception existed though? Like, people bringing up these idea that Africa is not homogeneous. What does it exist in the first place?
It is actually coming from our enemies, who always want to exaggerate our differences as a reason as to why. Because they must legitimize the Berlin Conference, illegitimate as it was, which now creates governments that are illegitimate, based on an illegitimate conversation. Because the country's concept comes from Berlin Conference, which did not include us. And now governments are sitting on top of a decision that was wrong in the first place to create republics that are founded on an illegitimate conversation and conference. So how many Africans were in Berlin Conference? How many?
I think none.
And how can that meeting be legitimate? If democracy says the people must vote and agree, how many of us voted for it?
But you said it's because of our enemy. But then if you look within Africa, for example, we saw what was happening in South Africa, where foreigners not come here. We saw what was happening in Tunisia. Horrible stories of what Africans have been, the treatment that they have been subjecting themselves on. That has nothing to do with our enemies. Yeah.
Me and you can actually celebrate Tanzania. That on such issues, we cannot use those that are failing as examples of what Africa is all about. Let's look for those that are succeeding. So if Tanzania had done what South Africa is doing, where would ZANU-PF be? Where would ANC be? Where would SWAPO be? Where would Frelimo and Mozambique be? Where would Malawi be? Where would Angola be? Because all those liberation struggles, Malemu, Julius Kambarage Nyerere, opened up the borders of Tanzania. Morogoro, wherever, and set up camps throughout the whole of Tanzania, even contributing taxpayers' money to subsidize for the liberation struggles. And there, the whole of the southern hemisphere was liberated by a decision of one country, Tanzania. So we cannot go and look at South Africa as the purest of windows to interpret what Africa must do. That's a failure, my brother. We can't even discuss that. It's a shame for a fellow African country to do that. Imagine a Tanzania going to South Africa, and his father and mother contributed towards the liberation of South Africa. When he goes to his brother, who is lecturing at the University of Wits, he gets beaten up for being a foreigner. How does that sit in our spirit? So we cannot compare the failures of Africa with those that are failing. Let's look at those that are succeeding. And on this particular issue of racial integration, I think that ANC must come back. Must come back to Tanzania.
It should come back here?
They must come back.
I mean, Becky was here recently.
I'm saying ANC must come back, not Becky. ANC, the political party, must come back to Tanzania. Jacob Zuma must come back. Thabo Mbeki must come back and go back to the place where they were staying and see how the people here treated them. And then after learning and understanding that, they're going to go back in South Africa and educate their fellow South Africans. What is the role of the African in creating harmony and liberating each other?
Thank you. But how should Africans react to a situation like that in South Africa?
I think as a media personnel, yourself, I want to give you that responsibility. I want you to go back to all these bases that were established by Mwalimu Nyerere. Collect those stories. Pick up those children that were impregnated by the ANC and other political parties. Cover those stories and send those stories to those countries and say, we are looking after your children here. Can you also look after our people over there? That's the important part of fixing a narrative. You're a journalist, an investigative journalist. And surely if you want to correct this thing, I'm telling you what you can do in your own corner. Go back and find out the contribution of Tanzania to Southern Africa and begin to lift up those stories. Let's not lift up, South Africans are beating whatever. You cannot correct a narrative like that. You go back to basics and find out the real information And we want to see programs like that.
You think it's an informational problem? Like maybe some South Africans are less informed about
It's for the fourth time or fifth time you're asking me, do I think? Do I think?
Yeah.
Do I think? And every time you're asking me, do I think, I'm tempted to answer you that I'm asking you, do you think that information is correct? You know, but yes, propaganda works on misinformation. And where there's ignorance, murder, crime, hatred thrive. And in the midst of misinformation, even worse can happen. You kill your own brother and mother without knowing. That when you don't know, you don't know. So now, and I think that the South African problem, it is twofold. There's one part that is ignorant, where some of those young people are totally uninformed, ignorant about what's happened. But the second group could be those that are coerced and those that are influenced by the Western narrative that foreigners are destroying your country. I worked in South Africa for more than 30 years plus. I write, I do TV programs, I design content and stuff like that for DSTV and etc. I sit down, I think, and I write. For a South African to come to me and say, I'm taking away his job, then I want to take a piece of paper like this. I said, if you think, if you think I'm taking away your job, write.
Yeah.
What have I taken away from you? Write your own book.
Yes.
Write your TV program here. Then go and submit it.
Yeah.
Now you cannot say to me, because I'm using my creative brain, I'm writing books, and say I'm taking away your job. Which, I'm a doctor, for example. I'm doing surgery. And then I'm taking away your job. But go and study. Come and work.
You don't think that they have legitimate grievances that the foreigners put the pressures on limited resources because there is that?
The limited resources are only limited as long as they're referencing black people. South Africa right now has opened up doors to Palestine. It has opened up doors to Israelis. It has opened up doors to Ukrainians and some of the Europeans who are flooding the Western Cape. There's no problem. It has opened up doors to China. If China sits in every town, there's no problem. But the only problem starts when fellow black people come into the space. And I don't want to undermine the fact that some of our black brothers, of course, mischievously so, have been used indirectly as channels of drugs by Cambodia, by South America, and even America itself. Some of the drug lords who are within the Southern Hemisphere are using South Africa as a gate into drug. And some of our brothers have been used as distributing centers. But while we are saying that, America is also guilty. Ask me why. They are now taking some of the hardest core criminals in the American prisons. And guess where they are sending them? Some are in Uganda right now. Rwanda has taken some. Swaziland has taken some. I don't know if South Africa has taken some. Now, you being an intelligent man, can I give you a scenario? Caparote or Capoche from Colombia or from wherever drugs are. Their boss is arrested. This guy's got 3,000 soldiers with guns, and he gets arrested. Maybe 3 or 4 of them. The other 2,900 are still outside. You take that criminal, you take that drug lord, and you come and place them in Dar es Salaam. The kingpin is now here. You don't need to do mathematics. What happens to the seas? What happens to the money flow? What happens to the drugs? What happens to these people that work with the boss that have taken a commitment of blood to die and live together? They have tattoos and everything written on their bodies that they will protect this man with everything that they have. And you are sending all these criminals to a country like Swaziland with less than 800,000 people. They don't even have a camera in the prison. They don't even have facilities to look up, and you are sending hardcore criminals. And then you give the guy small little 5-10 million to say, please, can you look after my criminals? So even the United States, in all truthfulness, how do you release such hardcore criminals from a system that can look after, protect, and then you throw them into vulnerable communities? And you are attracting, you are putting a piece of meat here, and you're asking wolves.
Why do African countries receive them though?
Ignorance.
Ignorance?
Greed. Foolishness. Manipulation. International pressure. Friendships. Bilateral agreements. And above all, mere stupidity.
I mean, for example, if Uganda said no, what would have happened?
The question is, why did they say yes? Follow the money. Follow the money.
Yeah, because I feel like they would just have said no, we don't want them.
And with all due respect to Museveni, when it came to gayism, he said what?
Yeah, he stood firm.
He said no. So what has made him say yes this time?
Yeah, what?
Oh, I don't know. I ask you. You're a journalist.
No, but you're a philosopher.
Oh, of course. I said, I gave you an answer already. I said, follow the money. follow the money. Money never lies. It leaves a track record wherever it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, and actually I have jotted down my questions here, and this was just a start, but I want to ask you, from a philosophical point of view, I mean, you're an artist, you said, but you observe what is happening in Africa, and I'm being cautious here, remaining vigilant on the issue of heterogeneous and homogeneous. But from a philosophical point of view, what do you think is ailing Africa?
When the face is beautiful and the software is not working, hardware suffers. When a woman is beautiful and the brains are not working, the tools between the legs, they suffer. When a country, when a continent is resourced, attractive, profitable, but leadership, HR, is not working, the resources of those countries, they go to waste. We say, therefore, you can cut this clip off if it is too strong. The vagina of a drunk woman does not belong to her. It belongs to those that are sober. The resources of a country that can think, they are taken away by those that are sober. When you ask me, what's the problem? Our leadership is fast asleep. And when they are awake, they are not fully informed to the global conversation and the impact of the decisions that they are making in the short term, in the long term. Number one. Number two, they are manipulated. Number three, they are compromised in such a way that some of them have not been in power legitimately, but they've actually gone to the West, they've been trained there, they've been assigned, they've been sponsored, and they've been placed into positions of power to maintain a certain narrative. Look at Cameroon. Beer. France is running Cameroon. Beer is sick in hospital. The country is running under the supervision of Macron. And then you ask me, what's the problem of Africa?
Yeah.
It is it. The problem of Africa is beer. I'm not saying beer is an individual, but the state of mind, the gullibility, the insensitivity, the cruelty of a leader selling his people for the sake, even Venezuela. How does one army general receive $30 million in cash to sell his own president? And when he's finished selling his own president, 350 people are dead. And he takes his bag of money and walks away. And those 300 people are Venezuelans. And he feels nothing. Part of collateral. And you ask me, what's the problem? It's not an African problem.
It's not an African problem.
Human problem.
It's a human problem.
It's a human problem. Even Europe.
Yeah, because you say, like, you mean it's not limited to Africa.
Even Europe, with the glory that you might think, how do they sleep at night? When they manufacture their weapons and they send them to Congo, and the Congolese are killing each other, and their children are dying, and etc., and amputating their hands. How does Apple feel with your phone? Using cotton from Congo, and yet you know this is child labor. How does Nike feel when they know that Vietnam is using child labor to produce some of the best, most expensive Nikes? And etc. How do you feel? It's an international problem. How does China feel when they look? I was in Ghana yesterday. Rivers are this brown, taking all the gold and thinking, washing it back into the river. The fish and the animals are dying down the stream. That's China. How do they feel?
The Chinese?
Yes, how do they feel? They take the gold and run away back to their country. But how do you feel? So it's not an African problem. It only becomes, it compiles in our continent. But in terms of the global business capitalistic mindset, which says profit more over people. So get what you want. Don't mind the people. Kill them if you must kill them. Suffocate if you must. Remove them from land if need be. Sicken them if you can. Move them away from their homes and land. Just get us the resources that we want here. Because that's what's sustaining European, American, and Eastern businesses and industries. It's African raw materials and resources. They must report to their organization how much profit they made. And profit is calculated on how cheap was the raw material. And Africa is a supplier of raw material in its values.
Why do you think that kind of knowledge is lacking on the part of
Ask me who writes the textbooks. Ask me who writes the textbooks that took you to school. And if what I'm saying to you, you have met it anyway in your reading and in your classroom of learning, to be taught exactly how the global system works, to suffocate Africans away from their resources, to fuel the economies of the West. How capitalism, as a preferred form of governance around the world, America and Europe would fight any country that was prone to be moving towards socialism. Russia and China and North Korea and Cuba and Zimbabwe and other countries faced guillotine for the simple reason that they were moving towards socialism. Because socialism does not favor capitalism. What is capitalism? Capital. Take things to profit the multinational business people. Socialism, try and share with the people as much as possible. So the global West looked at socialism as a threat to their existentialism. At the end of the day, this is an ideological warfare between capitalism and socialism. Can the people have access to their resources? Capitalism says no. Can the business community determine the destiny of the poor people? It's an ideological conflict. So the question is now is, who is writing the books that are educating people like yourselves, people like myself? By the time you finish studying in school, do you understand the global conversation in relation to your misery and your poverty? You may think that your president is a problem. Meanwhile, the problem is not a problem. The policy, the constitution, the governance, the system.
But they can change that if they want to. I mean, for example, like we are in Tanzania, what is stopping Tanzania, for example, from changing the policies that you address? Or, for example, if it's the constitution. And I'm asking you this because you would expect that those in the government, they should know better because they're exposed to the things. They travel the world, they meet people. Like,
can I tell you a sad reality?
But because that is how I feel as an ordinary citizen.
Because you're normal. You're thinking like that because you don't have money. You are poor.
It is true.
That's what makes you think like that. But once you get into government, into these spaces where such stuff is being discussed, the question is, who has interest in what you're saying? I'll give you a simple example. That Tanzania and Magufuli costed him his life. When the rest of the world was saying you must buy COVID, you must buy tablets, you must buy vaccinations, you must buy what? Magufuli says he took pawpaw, he took mango, and he took a goat. I was following the story, and tested them for COVID, and they were positive. And he came up on record saying, to hell with this COVID thing. We already have COVID here. We'll continue living our lives.
But so many people died.
I agree. So many people died. But in the truest sense of vaccination and disease control, you do not always protect people from a pandemic because they never develop the immune system that fights that disease. But the conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole new conversation because there are a dozen of vaccines. And
you know what I'm saying? And and this vaccine you're giving us has not even been tested. You are literally taking the whole world as an experiment center. And on the 5-year program of doing trials, COVID broke all the rules. All the rules. Under the concept of emergency. Now go back on the internet and find out how many casualties and blood clots and etc. are coming out because of these vaccines that people took. It's shocking. You'll faint. But the issue is not there. But when you have political will, that can pick up and say, I'm not going to be buying my tablets from Fraser and etc. We're going to be producing our own tablets in Tanzania. Your president will be out of office by tomorrow morning. There's pharmaceutical companies that are receiving checks from the government of $65–85 million a year for selling drugs to the country. All of a sudden, that budget is moved to local people. You think those business people are sitting in their offices drinking coffee? They'll take 15 million and come and give someone, they'll go kill that person. You take 5, you take 5, you take 6, and take 8, and remove him. And so it's not politics, my brother. Business.
Then
Politics is a prostitute of business.
Then where does that leave us?
It leaves us in a brothel. It leaves us in a brothel.
Do you think we have power to change it?
Oh, of course. Power is there. Power of transformation is there until people are informed.
What would it take?
It takes information first, and then we can put our pressure and our conversation to transform the right things. I was lecturing this morning, we don't need to be cleaning any more cobwebs. No more. Let's find the spider and kill it. And the spider is the Constitution and Roman Dutch law. Because that's where all regulations are written. And they're entrenched in a piece of paper you call a constitution, which does not recognize our pain. The constitution is just a piece of paper. There's no spirit. It doesn't eat. It doesn't breathe. There's no feelings. It's literally a piece of paper.
Yes.
But this piece of paper, people are dying.
So you replace it with what?
I replace it with you. Find the issues that are not favorable to your existence and rewrite this thing to favor you. If we must write in the constitution that no president must pick up a gun and shoot a human being that is walking on the street, put it on paper there and then uphold it. No policeman must be found beating a human being on the face of Tanzania. Write it here and implement it.
But it is there already in the constitution.
But where is it written? Then how many people did you bury?
A lot of people.
Then what are you doing about it?
Who?
The same system, young man, cannot protect itself from itself.
Yeah, but who will change the constitution?
It's a good question to the wrong person. Very good question. Because maybe go backwards. Who wrote it?
For example, for example, in Tanzania, the constitution was written by some elders of the ruling Chama cha Mapinduzi.
Which year was that?
That was in 1977.
Did they have a typewriter, or did they have a computer, or did they have Windows?
I don't know.
But I know, you know, young man, you are grown up.
No, I don't know.
Did they type it on a typewriter, or on a computer, or on Windows?
It must be typewriters.
Okay. So the mindset, the worldview, the data that they had in 1976, did they have Google?
No, they didn't.
So what are you already seeing there? The quality of document which you are upholding in 2026, the mindset of that document is 1972. What's the difference? Do they even have a cell phone?
But people have been demanding that constitution be changed, and the people in power have been the single problem.
So you join politics, young men, and go and change it. Go. Don't make noise from outside.
Okay. So where do you invest your hope in?
Where do I invest
your hope?
In you. The young people. The young person must be informed. The young person must be healthy. The young person must be global in thinking. The young person must know exactly what kind of a monster are we dealing with. And when they get involved in political offices, when they get involved in corporate decision making, simple example, you appoint a young lady to become an HR director, and then she will still enforce that the African woman must take 3 months maternity leave. Go to a woman. Study what Sweden has done. 1 year maternity leave. 1 year for the husband, 1 year for the wife. That's 2 years. The young child is going to parent constantly for the next 2 years. What do we lose to take some of those policies? I'm not even looking at government. I'm looking at organizations and corporate.
Yeah.
That this policy that is written down that a woman must go on maternity for 3 months. And here you are now, you're in the public relations, you are the human resource. You go there, you uphold this 3 months thing. Are you not thinking? You're even worse, you're a woman. Is your brain working? Why don't you go there and sit down and correct that? And so this for me is where information and global understanding of issues comes in handy to transform policies, to transform constitutions, to transform the bureaucracies and the red tapes, which are actually standing as a hindrance to our own progress as African people. We have politicians, we have leaders who are uninformed. And when they are informed, they are misguided. When they are misguided, they are manipulated. Ultimately, some of them cannot help us because they are corrupt. They have been corrupted by the very same system.
Yeah, but then they control the system, and it is very difficult to change the system while they are still in the system. And my question is, how do you see that change happening? Do you see the ballot box? Do you see it on the streets? Do you see it in the military coup? Because we have seen all of it. We have had elections, we have had demonstration, misnamed the Gen Z protest here across the continent. We have had the military coup. How do you see that change that you
Before I give you my response, what do you think? Before I give you my response.
Well, I'm here to ask you a question.
I'm going to answer you. I just want to size up yours and find out if you are also reasonable like myself. Okay, here is a man who does all these things, and here is a man who is causing all this chaos, and this man is in your house. What do you do? What do you do? I understand. You don't have to answer it. Your job will go on the line. Let me.
No. But genuinely, frankly speaking, how do you see that change happening? Do you see it happening on the streets? Do you see it happening at the ballot box? Because
listen. Let me make it easier for you. We have learned for the past 65 years from the liberation of Ethiopia and Ghana to South Africa that actually democracy can be manipulated. It is a cheap political slogan of talking democracy. It doesn't work. America has proved it. It doesn't work. London, it doesn't work. Some of the most successful countries in the world, Dubai and China, Singapore, there's no democracy at all. There are other forms of governance. Unfortunately, Africa is stuck. Mysteriously so. People who come to teach us democracy don't even practice democracy in their country. I take Britain, for example. Africa must be democratic. But they're running under a monarch. They have their king. And they're running their countries peacefully so. But in Africa, you're not allowed to have a king. Why? Because the only king that must be alive is the British king. So you already begin to see the misfits of trying to fit round poles in square holes. Institutional transformation simply tells that the African system is using to govern himself is foreign to him. You cannot run a democratic system without the white man. He's the one who designed it. He's the one who knows how to use it. Take democracy and give it to a black person. Brother, that's anarchy. That's murder. Because the same system can be manipulated. How can I print the ballot papers? How can I put the posters? How can I put the TV programs? How can I do the traffic and transport for people to go and vote? And I make sure that I lose in the system. How does that work? How do you help another man that wants to take your wife? How to take your wife away from you? Are you normal? Life does not work like that. And worse, when people that are in opposition, we want to arrest them, we're going to throw them in prison. And me, I must be sitting in my office, waiting for you as opposition to come and take over the office and throw me in jail. And I will help you because we believe in democracy. Come on, man. Just to stop, young man. Smell the coffee. This system does not work.
Yeah. It is interesting you said that, because actually you are on record having saying that you describe democracy as a smoke screen of lies which allows imperialism and neo-colonialism to continue. I mean, in one of your interviews you said Africa needs dictators. Africa needs military dictators. And I wanted to ask you, do you think democracy is inherently a good thing or a bad thing? And are you opposed to democracy as a concept or as how it is being practiced in Africa? Because I think that is two different things.
I've not seen democracy being practiced anywhere where it has worked.
Yes.
It starts in your house. You have not called a committee for your children that are going to make their mother pregnant. can we vote? All those in favor say aye. And then we agree. No, make your mother pregnant.
Yeah.
No, and intentionally, without being sarcastic, it is trying to tell you that if this thing cannot be practiced at a very fundamental, basic home level, what makes you think that you will? Okay, let's go to corporate, big organizations, Microsoft, Colgate, BMW, Daimler. Is there democracy there? Some of those are family businesses that are handed over from one generation to another. And by the time you come to issues of governance and you want to talk democracy, you cannot be talking democracy without understanding the economics of democracy. Because then democracy is sponsored by the economists. It's all about business. Who makes money when you are in power? And when I remove you, what do I stand to lose? And how much am I willing to put ahead to make sure that I secure the votes for you? And you want to ask if it works? Theocracy for Israel, benevolent dictatorship, maybe for China, meritocracy for Singapore. And then you begin to see all these hybrid forms of governance that are rocking up into the continent. And I think Africa is high time. We're intelligent now. We can think. Let's look at how we can hybridize our democracy. And in conclusion, on the dictatorship, fundamentally, I qualified why I say dictators.
Yeah, you actually said the military dictators.
As long as they're dictating the right thing. Because I was trying to run away from democracy, which is chained in the bureaucracy of non-deliverance. You have a toilet that is leaking there, if you remember that illustration.
Yeah, you said that.
16 weeks to 16 months, from committee to procurement to what. And at the end of the day, the toilet is never get fixed because we're using a democratic system where there's procurement, there's water. No, man, damn you, just take money, then fix it. No, the democratic system does not allow you to do that. There's corruption. So at the end of the day, here we are, sitting around, our roads are leaking, sewage is running outside. That contract of fixing those sewage pipes is there. The government knows it. Municipality knows it. The budget is there, but it can only be approved because there's a system. That democracy already tell you, if you're going to do things, this is how you're going to do them.
There are so many things to unpack there. So first, I just want to get your clarification. You are not just opposed to democracy as it is being practiced all over the world, but you are opposed to it because you think inherently it cannot be done.
I'm informed by the experience of democracy that those who uphold it, they've killed other presidents in other countries. Those who uphold it, they've promoted liberal behaviors and unethical behavior to other countries. Those that promote democracy are not practicing it themselves. Those that say we must actually go democratic rule are the financial controllers of the world, who make sure that they manage us through this system. So ultimately, I've not seen it. Show me one country that is democratic.
No. But you are a philosopher, and you know, like from the philosophical point of view, is democracy inherently a good thing or a bad thing? Like, for example, what is wrong with the people having a say on how their country should be?
You are using a homogeneous definition of democracy, which is unfortunate. I tried to give you 2 or 3 variations. Meritocracy, you know, and in Africa we believed in what we call collective democracy, where consultative democracy, where a king is here and his leaders and generals and wise men, multi men are all around. And when a decision must be made, then the collective, and the king is not supposed to talk. People talk. When they have all spoken, 3 or 4 of them take the king into confidence. People have said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We suggest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What do you say? Then the king says, I think that option and that option is doable. When they come out from there, they say the king has said, the king has spoken. Meanwhile, the king has not said anything. It's the people that have spoken. Now you see that kind of a democracy, vis-a-vis what you may call American democracy, where the whole country votes a political party into power. The political party then decides who the president. You cannot tell me, young man, with all the genius that I see in your eyes, that America, Massachusetts, Harvard, you know, Indiana, Philly, New York, DC, all the top institutions in the world, that the best leader for America is Trump. Not the best break.
No, but you know, my interest is democracy as a concept, democracy as a philosophy.
Maybe define it first.
No, I think if you ask me to define it, I think it's ability of people to be able to participate in how their country should be run. And another question there, because I told you that there are so many things to unpack from what you say. You say we can settle for benevolence dictatorship. Yeah, like you have someone who dictate, who fix the potholes, who fix the latrines. Uh, but what if you have that person who does not do that, and you don't have a mechanism to hold them accountable?
Then go to China, where they're practicing it. If you have stolen money, they'll tell you commit suicide. Or will help you.
But you have to have someone who can do that.
That's the person I'm looking for. Do we have that quality of person that can make those decisions? In our present constitutions right now, you cannot even kill someone. You cannot shoot them. When they've stolen money, you must take them to court for trial. And they hide their money in Dubai. They will come back after 6 years and go and enjoy their money because your system allows them to steal. But go to China. Who will shoot you? Who will kill you? Go to Saudi Arabia. Who will chop off that head if you have stolen? So our constitution, in terms of our policy, which is democratic, does not have an enforcement system that allows people to uphold the same democracy. At the end of the day, democracy is abusing us because people are using that same democratic constitutional preservation of life to abuse and be reckless on the system. I wonder if that makes sense to you.
It does. It does. You don't think that the problem maybe is because we claim to follow democracy, but instead it's just a caricature of democracy?
When democracy,
like for example, like you find a country, it's calling itself a democratic country, but if you examine everything it does, it's not democratic at all.
We're finally singing on the same hymn. If you take democracy on one side, you take Islam and Christianity, and you mix them together, it's one of the strongest drugs that even a president cannot stomach. Religion and politics, if they go to bed together, the child that comes out of that is what you are practicing in Africa right now, where you cannot tell whether this is an Indian child, it's a colored child, it's a black child, it's a mixed masala, it is a yogurt and a fruit salad of chaos. As much as you are trying to convince me of democracy, but honestly speaking, you are even having a difficulty to explain if this democracy as a system has delivered anything that is useful.
No, I just think that you are advocating for genuine democracy.
Thank you. Thank you. When you say the people are going to govern themselves, I go to Kenya. We don't want to wake up in the morning and hear that our soldiers are in Haiti. And that has not gone to parliament. When there's a strike and there's a problem in Tanzania, we don't want to hear that there are 2,000 people that are dead. We want to meet in parliament and have a conversation and agree and discuss what we do about the problem that is there. But democracy then takes one person and puts them at the helm of government. And they begin to make decisions by themselves. And those decisions impact the very concept that I'm talking about of democracy. So, and this is where me and you maybe are just crossing our paths a little bit. That if we say we're going to do democracy, then let's practice it in the honesty of its function.
Yeah.
So that does not end up as a piece of paper of consensus agreement, but in terms of function and operation, we're far from it.
Yeah,
so we are not democratic at all because we don't even practice it.
Yeah, that is a very interesting point. And I'm just wondering, why do you advocate for military dictatorship? Because you have been there already.
For now, military dictatorship seems to be delivering faster than democracy.
How so?
Oh, Burkina Faso is a good example. Madagascar is coming on nicely. Niger is coming in nicely. Mali is coming in nicely. I've been there. I was there a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Building their roads, building their industries. Gold mining has gone through the roof. Infrastructure development, railway lines, airports have been built. I got there. 2 aeroplanes have been bought. I mean, Burkina Faso has not seen an aeroplane of its own in the past 20, 30 years. And for me, in a matter of crisis, sometimes puddings and salads are a delicacy in poverty, my brother. You cannot be calling on that you want ice cream as a dessert to a Somali child or to an Ethiopian child or to a war-stricken country where starvation is right. You cannot be going there to deliver sweets. Sometimes, let's be frank also and open, that some basic things must become basic. And the periphery and the cosmetics of free media. Free, you can have as much free media as you want, but if you're hungry, my brother, what do you do with the free media? You cannot eat it.
But if you don't have free media and the people are starving, you cannot report it. But that's the issue. And another issue is...
And I raise it for you so that this I know we can get it done with. I raise it for you so that we can move faster. I don't want to bring it at the end.
Yeah.
So
but do you worry about sustainability? I mean, for example, in Burkina Faso, do you think if Traore will continue the way he's doing, is it sustainable?
My brother, if you have been closed up in a dungeon for 20 days and you cannot even breathe or have fresh air or see the sun, even if seeing the sun is for 20 minutes, my brother, it's worth a breath just to have for once in your life. You know, we're talking about sustainability because you're living in a place that is fully functional. For Burkina Faso to have moved where it is, away from the French, I was there. I've seen poverty at its worst, and I've seen people walking out of that. So issues of sustainability, etc. I think maybe let's move them a bit for now. Can we just be happy that for the first time in their lives, people are just taking a breath. They're already asking, are you ready to run again? Amen. Give those guys a break. I don't mind if even another 10 years or so, but for sustainability, of course, the building of systems, building of handover, you know, transfer of skills and managing of the system, creating a new, to me, that's work in progress.
And you would call for that. I mean, for example, in Burkina Faso, because I think it is important to make sure that
yes and no.
Everything does not depend on one person.
Ask me yes and no. Ask me why.
Yeah, why?
Dubai, Singapore. When last did you hear of elections in Dubai? When last did you hear of elections in Singapore?
Is it something to be proud of, though? I mean,
but go to Dubai. If what the man is doing is working for his people and the people are happy with what is happening in the country, who are you as an outsider? Now you're becoming an American. Where you can be sitting in New York and think that you know what is best for Venezuela. Stay in your country.
No.
If the people in Singapore are there, if the people in Singapore are happy with a clean Singapore, with no elections, and the leader is taking them to become number 3, number 4 in world economics, best education, best this, and the system is working for its people, who are we to talk to China and talk to North Korea, to talk to Russia and say, we don't like the way Putin is doing it. We don't like the way Xi Jinping is doing it. We don't like the way, who are we? Enjoy your Tanzania. Enjoy your Tanzania, enjoy your Zimbabwe.
You mentioned Dubai. And
they're building stadiums in the air.
Who is building them, though? But because, I mean, you follow on social media the reports on how immigrants and laborers are being treated in Saudi Arabia.
But the Dubaians, the local people are happy.
At whose expense?
At your expense. You are running away from your own country. You are trying things that don't work. They are doing things in their country that work. So if we all...
Because you say everybody is happy
if
there.
The local people are happy. They're born millionaires. Libya was moving there. And what I'm trying to put across, if African presidents can take the Trump derogative statement, America comes first.
Yes.
All of you. You remember him saying that? All of you. You are what holes. America comes first. And when Trump gets into power, he makes sure that of priority, Americans come first. Chase away what? Chase away this, chase away foreigners, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we learn from the best. We come back to Tanzania and we implement that policy. Tanzanians come first, or Africans come first. Idi Amin went past that door.
Yeah, but I think Mali did that. I mean, why? I don't know why. What is stopping Tanzania from doing the same?
Brother, let me stop there for now. You
Because you're in Tanzania?
You can hear exactly what I'm saying.
Thank you very much. So, I mean, you mentioned the religion, and I want to ask you about religion.
We don't discuss religion on national TVs. It's dangerous.
No.
Because Islam, Christianity, and Judaism are all Abrahamic faiths that seem to want to colonize and take over territory for the purpose of their God. And in my own world, if Allah, may peace be upon him, if Jesus, praise him. If Yahweh are all gods, wherever they are, I don't know. Can they just have a committee by themselves and talk together there and leave human beings alone?
Yeah.
We are tired of fighting religious wars
Yeah.
when these gods are drinking tea in heaven and we people must be protecting them. It does not work for me. So I don't want to discuss religion.
It's not in that sense, because you're very critical of religion, and I've been wondering if you think that they can be instrumentalized for good cause. I mean, for example, we saw what was happening in Latin America in the 80s, where the Catholic Church, for example, religion, was very instrumental in fighting dictatorship. The question that I want to put...
Go back and put the slave ships that are living...
the question that I want to
put the slave ships that are living here, sponsored by the Catholic Church, Spain. So let's start from there. Don't tell me them fighting oppression, which they created through their dictatorships. They created the slave trade. They marketed the slave trade.
And you don't think that religion can be instrumental for good cause?
My brother, hence I'm saying I don't want to get there. The Crusaders' history is stained with blood over religious superiority. Islam, Christianity, Palestine, Judaism, and this Yahwism, and then Christianity. These three in my own world, these three are a nuisance to the world. Their gods are a headache to humanity. If we can just remove these three gods and lock them in one room and say whoever wins there, and we talk to him, maybe this world will be a quiet place.
And you replace them with what?
And I'm saying whoever kills, they can kill each other and leave us alone. I don't want to get involved. Just close Allah, Yahweh, and Jesus in one room and say, guys, can you talk to each other and leave us out of this? And whoever comes out of that room, he can come and talk to us.
But there will be a void, and my question is, do you fill it with what?
You are making an assumption based on an illusion of the presence of deity, which is non-existent.
I was speaking about religion, though.
Yeah, but I'm with you. Religion, we have faith. We believe in things, and no one has seen them. So we are talking to the air. Yeah. So I'm saying if they are there, please write a letter to them from Maponga J. That can you please hold an agent meeting and leave humanity out of your problems. You don't want to be fighting over inshallah, Sharia Kelo, Christianity, and we are the chosen, we are the remnant, we are Jews, we're chosen by God. Abraham is your father, the three of you, for crying out loud. Go back to your father, agree, and we as Africans and the rest of the world, I think we're tired of this LP of religion. It's not working for us. It's actually a source of problems. Ask Nigeria right now. In the name of religion, Nigeria is at war. Americans have come to rescue Christianity from Islam. Go to the Middle East, religion. Iran, Iraq, religion. Israel, Iraq, religion. Afghanistan, religion.
You are a Pan-Africanist. Are you still optimistic that the dream of Pan-Africanism, as it was held by our forefathers, the Nyereres, the Mandelas, the Haile Selassies, you think it will be realized?
I am of the opinion that we lost traction in the 70s and 80s because many of the Pan-Africanists became political, and they thought that they would take over the political system towards Pan-Africanism. Unfortunately, they were swallowed, all of them, by the system, down the drain. And the whole concept of restoration of African indigeneity and sovereignty was lost. We need to resuscitate the fundamentals of Pan-Africanism, because Pan-Africanism became a liberation movement. And many of the Pan-Africanists right now is we're talking. Yoweri Museveni, Taguta, they're now running the government. That's very same people who were fighting the European system are now the European system. The Mwalimu Julius Nyereres, the Kenneth Kaundas, the Robert Mugabes, the Sobukwes in South Africa, the ANC, and so all these revolutionary political parties were Pan-Africanist. Now they are running the system, and they have become the problem to the people. And you're asking me, will it be resuscitated?
Yeah, but
we need a new form of thinking. We need to reshape and reformat the very core and essence of Pan-Africanism. Without land, you can't talk Pan-Africanism. Without indigenization and contextualization and sovereignty, you can't talk Pan-Africanism. Independent banks, education systems, you can't talk Pan-Africanism. So for me, my generation comes in now slightly more informed to say political liberation does not come with economic liberation. We needed a holistic view of Pan-Africanism. It's not just fighting imperialism, but also rewriting the very system that was oppressing us. But unfortunately, our Pan-Africanists, they went into the same government to sit on the same chair of the oppressor. And what have they become? What have they become?
Well, they have become a tyrant, I would say.
So what were you fighting all along? Only to become the problem yourself. Right now, the whole of Africa is crying for liberation. From who?
From their own people.
Thank you. Is that Pan-Africanism? Same thing about democracy. Is that democracy?
Not democratic, but you are optimistic, aren't you?
I'm very optimistic. Now that I've spoken to you, I feel good. But the future is bright.
Dr. Maponga, thank you very much.
Asante sana.
Karibu
We must
sana.
do this again.
Yes.
At your own risk. But thank you.
Thank you very
Madam,
much.
it was nice talking to you.
Nice to you.
And I hope that they will not close me out of the border.
I hope they won't.
We wish the Tanzanian government success and prosperity. Honorable President, listen to the voice of the people. Listen to the voice of the people. Do not use the same colonial system which you and your party were fighting to destroy the people that have put you in power. We want to be liberated from that system. And that liberation includes you, Honorable President. When we are free, you'll be free. And when our children marry your children, we will live in a happy country, all of us together.
Oh, that is so beautiful. And we will end it there. Thank you very much once again. And karibu sana Tanzania.
Sante.
Yes.
Sawa sawa.